Hey guys! So we are going to be talking about defining your target market and creating your avatar. So as you branch out from your warm market and going into your cold market, the biggest thing to know is who you're trying to target. So what I teach all of my new coaches, and something that I hope that you get out of this training, is understanding that our posts need to be extremely intentional. Every single time you make a social media post, you need to have an intended audience that is ready to receive that message. And without that intention, you're kind of putting out a post, I call it a Hail Mary, and hoping it sticks somewhere. And unfortunately, guys, most of the time it doesn't. So what I'm going to be talking to you about today is how to define your target market, how to create it, and how to create your avatar. So when we talk about your avatar, basically it's a synopsis of the type of person you are trying to attract in a nutshell. So I like to give my avatar like a face and a name. Who is that person I am trying to attract? What do they look like? What kind of interests do they have? What kind of hobbies? Are they a stay-at-home mom? Are they a working professional? What do they look like? Who do you resonate with, and who do you think would resonate with you and your brand? That's your avatar. Your target market is, again, that type of person that will resonate with you and your interests, your likes, your dislikes, who you are. So for me, my target market is moms. It's always been moms, but it's ever changing as my kids continue to get older. So when I started Beachbody, I was very focused on the newborn phase of life, newborn moms, postpartum moms was that niche. And as my children have gotten older, they're 5 and 7, that has changed. So my shift has been still in the mom realm, but really honing in on a certain type of market. And I feel like that will make you a lot more successful in where your posts are going and who you're speaking to when it matches the stage of life you're also in. So something I want all of you guys to do, I want you to take out your pen and paper or get out your notebook, and I want you to write down at least 10 things that make up you, that make up who you are. It could be interests, it could be activities, it could be things that you do, things that you enjoy doing, things that you watch, things that you read, but what makes up you? And I want you to take Beachbody out of that equation, because here's the thing, and this is really important to know. Most people are going to connect with you and resonate with you about 95% of the other stuff that you're talking about that doesn't have to do with Beachbody. They are going to form that relationship with you and feel a connection based on those other things. And then when you share your Beachbody journey and you share things about being a coach, they will be interested because they've connected with you on another level. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down those 10 things, okay? And you're going to look at each of those things at that list and say to yourself, which of these do I feel would bring in the most people to my business? What market do I feel most comfortable talking to these people, forming a relationship with these people? Which of these things do I feel like I can really build a brand on? And that's what I asked myself. I had this list of 10 things, but some of them I felt a little bit more compelled to share on over others. I feel like being a mom is a huge part of who I am. It's why I work so hard. It's why I started this business in the first place. It's the greatest gift. So naturally, that interest is going to take precedence over my social media, and those are the kind of people that I'm going to connect with the most. That is not to say that should be your thing at all, but you need to find that thing that you feel most passionate about. So my next thing is Florida. I live in Florida. I have lived here my entire life. I love it here. I'm a very outdoorsy person. I'm a very beachy person. So the overall vibe for me is that bright, airy, really fun vibe that I like to share. And those are the people I like to bring in. So I do network with a lot of people that live in the South. I network with a lot of people who enjoy outdoor activities, going to the beach, swimming, just being outdoors. That's a huge market for me. Those are the things you need to think about. So when somebody goes to your social media and they quickly glance, they get a 30-second glance at your page, does it match that 10 item interest list or that 3 specialty item that you chose from that 10? Does it match that? And that's the biggest question I'm gonna have for you guys. And that is the biggest thing that you need to remember every time you make a post. So what I like to do is I have a Post-it that I keep right here on my desk, and it has my list of 10 and it has my list of 3. And I try deeply every time that I get on social media to reference that list and say, am I doing a good job of sharing content that fits into these categories? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, then I feel like I'm on the right track of bringing in the right kinds of people. I have an Instagram training that I think you guys will all see, and that really helps you to dive into how to attract your target market. But that training won't make sense unless you know who your target market is. What are you about? Who are you hoping to attract? I will tell you guys this, something that I made a mistake on when I first started coaching was I talked about fitness all the time, because it was who I was. It was what I was so passionate about. But I feel like by doing that, I isolated the people that weren't ready to hear that message quite yet. And I look back to before I became a coach and I wasn't ready to hear that message yet. So think about that when you're doing your social media. You want to share that fitness and that love for what we do, but you want to make sure that you are sharing everything else about who you are and what makes up you, so those people have the chance to connect on that level, and then they'll be more receptive to your fitness. But if someone goes to your page and all they see is Beachbody and all they see is workouts and they're not there yet, they're not ready for that level, it'll be an isolating experience for them and they're less likely to connect with you. So to sum this up, okay, you are going to focus on 10 things about you, anything, all right? You're gonna write them down. You're gonna look over that list and you're gonna pull at least three that really resonate with you and the type of person you are trying to attract and the type of person you would love to have on your team. And then on a separate piece of paper, you're gonna have written out your avatar. What does your ideal customer look like? What does your ideal coach look like? What do they do? What are their hobbies? What are their interests? And then you're gonna compare these 2 pieces of paper together and you're gonna ask yourself, do these align? Do these interests and this target market align with my avatar? And if they do, you have the perfect recipe for success in your first stage of developing your brand, developing your target market, and creating your avatar. So I hope that was helpful, and get to work on those lists.